What's going on? It's Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. I want to talk about the wealth gap. The wealth gap. I did a show earlier this morning on the Millionaire Morning Show, and it was highlighting and detailing how a young NFL player 1 year into his rookie contract, in which he had signed a $19.8 million bonus and then a $30 million four-year contract on top of it. Now that's $50 million, chop it in half, and then you got $25 million because after taxes and all of that. And then you take out fees and all of that. So let's just say after $50 million, you got $20 million left. It's a lot of freaking money. A lot of money gone and a lot of money that you have to then do some things with. Now, he detailed how he spent his first $1 million, and I thought that it was absolutely egregious because I think that he could do a lot better than that. But his ignorance was shown, and when I say ignorant, I'm not dissing him. I think his name was Jamar Chase. His ignorance was shown in his inability to manage money, successfully, because he was so focused on spending the money instead of investing the money. And I think that the wealth gap similarly is a reflection of people's ignorance when it comes to how to deal with money. On a very basic level, having to budget is nothing more than just designating how much it's going to cost you to be able to live, survive, and do the things that you want to do. And so you separate money into buckets. And so most people don't even do that. Most people have it in their mind that they're going to do things a certain type of way. They know how much their rent costs, so I know I got to have it direct deposited out and all of this other type of stuff. And most people don't even budget effectively, right? Most people don't even know how to manage a budget. They look at a budget and they write down all of their bills and what they take home, and then they put together, whatever their spending habits are in their mind, and that's how they pay their bills. And then the people that are a little bit more advanced, they write it down. They write it down because it actually show them how much they have left to be able to do the things that actually matter. Most people invest last. They don't pay themselves first, they invest last. And it's because they budget in their money off of what's left and not how it is that they're supposed to be moving more effectively, right? But then last but not least, you have the people that actually understand how money works. And I break this down in the Patreon, especially when it comes to how it is that you need to be managing your money. And you're supposed to do it based off of percentages and not based off of how much money you make or how much is left at all. You're supposed to do it based off of percentages. And if you don't know, make sure you tap into the Patreon. That link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you need to kick it with me personally, email me at Anton Daniels 413 @gmail.com and we're going to get you set up. But the wealth gap is representative of this. And because people don't understand how money works, they put themselves in this cycle of poverty. Now, the cycle of poverty is interesting because even when people make money, they find themselves going back broke because they didn't actually take into consideration how their money was going to carry them or how to manage it more effectively. And so what you then see is people, right, that make a lot of money that try to nurse it all the way up until they die instead of allowing for the resources that they've been able to accumulate to invest, and then they use that to be able to buy the toys. They buy the Porsches that I'm riding right now, the big cars. Even when I buy jewelry, quote unquote jewelry, I bought the watch, right? But it's actually worth more than what I paid for it. And it's a reason for that because I understand how money works. And so there's this perception, I think, a lot of times that just because you make a lot of money, that separates you from a wealth perspective. Wealth is a mindset. Getting rich is different. Let me say that one more time. Wealth is a mindset, but getting rich is completely different than that. Getting rich means, I've achieved a certain level of net worth, or I make a certain amount of money, or so on and so forth. But having wealth is understanding how money works and making it work for you. And most people don't even get that right. They think that wealth means having a certain type of money or a certain amount of money to where you can never have to worry about money again. And that's not what wealth is. That's not what having a wealthy mindset is. Having a wealthy mindset is understanding how money works and knowing that you'll never be broke, because the things that you wind up buying has nothing to do with how much money you make. It's more about how much money you keep and how you let your investments then pay for the things that you really want. And so stop listening to people that don't understand how money works, because they're going to get you in trouble. They're going to put you in a space to where you're going to be dusty out here, and you're going to be all poor and stuff like that, because you thought because you made a lot of money that means you can increase your lifestyle. And you can't. You can't increase your lifestyle based off how much money you make. You have to make the decision based off of what makes the most financial sense. And most people aren't thinking about that, because they're only thinking about, well, I generate this amount of money so that I have this amount of money to be able to play with. And it's stupid. There's so many different types of rich people. There's people that look at being rich based off of your net worth. There's people that look at being rich based off of how much money you generate. And then there's people that look at being rich based off of how many assets that you have, right? Conversely, let's say somebody only makes $75,000 a year, but they invest all of the money that they have and they live like a pauper, right? They don't have nothing. Their car's paid for, though, and they're comfortable, and they don't ever have to worry about money, but they don't generate a lot of revenue. Technically, they're rich because they have a net worth that's well over, or they're a millionaire, right? They got a net worth at a certain level, but they can't really experience the lifestyle because all of their money is really saved and stacked, and their money is working for them, but they don't have the wiggle room to be able to do what they want to do. I don't want to be that type of rich person, right? And then you got the rich person that's generating a lot of money, but they still maintain a relatively low profile when they chill. They don't want the visibility, because the way that they made their money, it had nothing to do with their visibility of them marketing themselves, right? And so they generate a lot, and they do what they want to do when they just live comfortable. That's the most ideal thing. And then you have people whose wealth or them being rich is tied to who they are as a person, right? And so what happens is, a lot of times their visibility and their brand, think of like a Kim Kardashian, right? The Kardashian clan is very much a clan that capitalizes off of their name. And so they're able to sell beauty products, and they're able to launch Skims, and they got TV shows, and they generate a lot of money and a lot of wealth based off of the fact that they are more visible. And that's the least ideal, because you have to have all of the criticism that come along with it. But my point is that there's a lot of different types of people, but the one thing for sure and the two things for certain is that when you're talking about a wealth gap, if you're not generating revenue and income, and you out here looking like a dusty, you're not even a part of the conversation. And so there are certain people that get you up to the starting line, and then there's people like me that tell you what to do once you get it. First, you need a bigger shovel. First, you're going to have to start generating a lot of revenue. And that's where the work ethic comes from. You can't teach that. So if you ain't got it, then you ain't going to have it. But if you're then inspired by it, maybe you can learn how to do things a little bit better. But once you get the money, the question is, do you increase your lifestyle, or do you start to make more informed decisions as to making a sacrifice now so you can do what you want to do for the rest of your life? When I reviewed that video, and I'm going to drop it as a clip, when I reviewed that video about how he spends his $1 million, it was almost heartbreaking. Because you see that same story happen over and over again. And the funniest thing about it is that the richest people in entertainment actually made the majority of their money after they retired from doing whatever it is that they was doing, whether they was a basketball player, a football player, or whatever. But I think it's interesting. Let me know what y'all thoughts are. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Again, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If you need to kick it with me personally, email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com. Stay focused, man.